Welcome our candidate. You can have a seat. Thank you. I think we shall have to start our vetting process, and before we start, let's have a prayer. Let's pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessing as your servant whom you have been blessed to call to leadership position in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. Thank you. I think our candidate would have to take the oath of. Thank you. I think before you do it, we shall have to see whether we are the right candidate we are supposed to. That is the ID. Thank you. So you are Mr. Willy Kibronoron Rob. Thank you. You are welcome. You can take the oath.
I, Willy Rob, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a seat. Mr. Rob, welcome to today's vetting, and I hope before we proceed, you can tell us more about yourself. That is introduction.
So, Honorable Chair, this afternoon, I'm honored to sit before this distinguished team. My name is Willy Kiprono Rob, born 16th of September 1978, here in Kericho County, Kipkelion, sub-county, and precisely Kamashan Ward. I'm born to a large family, and I'm privileged that I'm also married. Of course, to one wife chair, and blessed with children. I schooled at Lelu Primary School. I usually tell the friends that I meet that I am a definition of a person who grew up from a very humble background. I went to Lelu Primary School up to class 8 and did finish in 1993. Later on, I proceeded to Rongai Boys, that is Rongai Agricultural and Technical Boys High School, where I did finish my Form 4, KCSE, got a B-, and unfortunately, I didn't make to university. That is the time again my father passed on. I joined Kagumo Teachers College for Agriculture and Biology diploma. Immediately, I took the challenge because most of my colleagues who had joined university were joining the first year. So in 02, I did finish up, and God was faithful. I taught briefly in Murao Secondary School, but by the end of September, I had an opportunity of teaching in Nyamira. I took the courage to go to a new land. Therein, immediately, I did enroll I did enroll for a degree at Egerton University for agricultural education and extension. And in 07, I did graduate with BSc. While I was teaching, and I was paying for myself. Then 07, after post-election, I came to Kericho Day High School as an agriculture biology teacher. And I had a privilege of leadership in Kericho Day. I didn't mention that in primary school, I was a head boy of Lelu Primary School. In high school, I was in charge of hostel. And in Kagumo Teachers College, I was also in student leadership, where I was representing the student leaders in Uganda hostel that time. So I came to Kericho Day, where apart from teaching, I had an opportunity of being in charge of a program that I really felt that we needed to empower the less privileged students, because most of our students are coming from T Estate. I did run a program called Spiritual and Moral Development Program. I used to invite motivational speakers, especially those who came from humble background, to motivate the students. The then principal was Juliana Kirui. Apart from that chair, I was also the chair in charge of Kericho District MOOC, because I had an opportunity of being an examiner, paper 2 agriculture, where I did engage a number of high teachers teaching agriculture. I could go to a number of schools, go and talk about performance. At the same time, I was also in charge of sports municipality, Kericho municipality, 17 schools, including Kericho High School. And therein, I did coach handball up to international level. At one time, we were privileged to take students in 2011 to Italy for an international tournament, courtesy of the then Minister of Roads, Honorable Franklin Bett, who did fundraise for us. Therein, I was ambitious still, because I believe that we are not limited. God was faithful enough. I did join masters Egerton universities for my MSc agricultural education and agriculture information and communication management, still extension, because I have passion in extension. I have passion in empowering the community, which I'm about to graduate. I will present the document on the same. I also enrolled for a diploma, public relation management, KIM, because I had this conviction that at one time, God will give me the position of leadership, and I need to relate with people. I need to share ideas. I did diploma, public relation. I also did certificate, strategic management and leadership, still in KIM. In Harvest at the moment, then in 2014, I joined Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology as a lecturer in the Department of Agriculture, where up to date, I am a trainer in agriculture, extension, animal husbandry across. In Harvest, by 2016, again, I found favor before God, because I was appointed in charge of performance contracting that is the year 2016. Among us the many, because Harvest, we are about almost 275. Harvest is Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology, Nakuru. I was appointed to be in charge of performance contracting. That is a management under the office of the principal. And I'll also present achievements we've done there. Projects, I've been in charge of projects in Harvest. While still in Harvest chair, I've been in charge of partnership between Harvest. We are coming up with what we call a Center of Excellence in dairy. We have Dutch partners from the Netherlands, which I had an opportunity of visiting in the month of December, trying to see the investors in the dairy value chain. And in addition to that, I'm also privileged to be a coordinator between a partnership in the Ministry of Education, a second partnership, whereby we have MasterCard Foundation funding a department of electrical, and I'm in charge of the communication. I'm also a national champion, again, in handball in Harvest in 2017. Again, my certificate, the award that I got as the overall champion in the country. At home, chair, I'm also in supporting a local football team, Kamashan Football Suku Stars, and with my passion with the youth, I'm a patron of to keep Car Youth Group, where most of the time I mobilize friends to support. I invite people to come and encourage the young men. I also sell out the TVET, because our people may not be in the know much. Church also, I'm also a church elder at AIC, where I'm so much privileged to be part of the church leadership. So I may not have exhausted, but that is a brief summary of myself. I have passion a lot in ensuring that the very low person has an access to education. I'm also privileged in Kamasha to have a school, an academy whereby I really sponsor the young men. Thank you, Chair.
Welcome. Before we proceed, you have to introduce my panel team here.
Sure.
Starting from our clerks over there.
Pleasure.
My name is Bernard Kibet.
Thank you, Bet.
And
Patricia Koech, Legolo.
Thank you, Patricia.
Justice Maritim Sachanata.
Thank you, Maritim.
Martin Langat, ICT.
Thank you, Langat.
Renis Chapngatich, PR.
Thank you, Langat.
our Vice Chair.
Anthony Ruta, MCA Gillianwat, and also Vice Chair of this committee.
Name is Francis Terer, MCA Cheboinwat, and a member of this committee.
Beatrice Chepkemoy, member of this committee.
Kiprotich Rogony, MCA Sigo Ward, and a member of this committee.
Thank you.
A nominee, my name is Dominic Mutai,
Dominic.
MCA Kabiangawad, member of this committee. Thank you.
Pleasure.
I am Richard Langat, MCA Kedoa Kimu Ward, member of this committee.
Pleasure.
And I am the chairman, Siele, from Waldai Ward. I think you might have captured every member, that is the panel team, who are mandated to interrogate with you, or rather, to ask you some questions concerning the department. Mr. Rob,
Yes.
do you have any honors or awards? And if any, list the scholarship, fellowship, honorary, degrees, academic or professional, even though some you have highlighted before. Also, professional association, where applicable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, Honorable Siele. Apart from the academic ward, I think I've mentioned that I have a diploma, 2 diplomas, that is in agriculture biology. I also have a diploma in public relations. I also have a degree, that's an academic award. I'm about to finish my MSc. I will present the same. I'm also I have an award at being the best coach in handball in KATI, that is Kenya Association of Technical Training Institution, being #1 in the Republic in the year of 2017. I'm a member of Kenya Institute of Management, a registered an associate member. I'm also a member of Young Farmers Club. I have membership where I also is the patron treasurer in the Young Farmers Club in South Rift. I'm also a member of TVETA, that is TVET Authority, and also Public Service Commission. Thank you, Chair.
Welcome. Have you ever held any public office or political activities and affiliations? If any, list chronological, any public office you have ever held, currently holding, including the terms of service and such position were elected or appointed. List all the membership and office held in service rendered, whether compensated or not to any political party or election committee if you have ever held position in any political party?
Chair, I haven't vied for any political seat, nor do I hold any political seat. Thank you, Chair.
Have you ever been adversely associated with the practice that deficit bias, favorism, or nepotism in the discharge of public duties?
Honorable Chair, I haven't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any pro bono charity work, donation, or charity done by way of pro bono or charity work listing specific instances, the amount contributed, and the amount of time devoted to each?
Thank you, Chair. For charity work, as I mentioned during my introduction, I am the patron of a youth group in Kamashian called Tukipka Youth Group, where I volunteer in public speaking, encouraging young men. I also volunteer a lot, especially in supporting them. I can't quantify because during the annual fora, we contribute in kind. And most of the time when the team has a budget deficit, I chip in or I lobby friends. I'm also a patron of Skamash and Sukus football club. The young men came and approached me, and what I did, Chair, is that I did provide to them training kits. They requested for a PIP for during the training. I did used my network because, as I mentioned, I also didn't mention that I am also the chair of Kenya Handball Federation, Kericho sub-branch. So I did request friends to give me the training pips and the cones, which if I quantified was around 10K. I also support young primary kids in an academy that is in our home, that instead of I plowing back the money, I told them that let them school, let them come and study for free, because some of them are so bright and they don't have an opportunity of being in a good school. So they are in my school. I can't quantify, but I thought, how do I give back to the community? Because, Chair, when I was joining Form 1, my father, late father, did organize for a fundraiser to help me join Form 1. And I thought, why don't I give back to these the children? Thank you.
Welcome. This time I will give my colleagues, whether they have got any question to ask, they can ask. Anybody with any question or something to ask concerning the candidate?
Thank you, Chairman. This thing is working.
Sure, Honorable.
Willy, welcome once again to this committee. I only have two questions. One is, now that you have delivered this docket, have you appointed yourself with a budgetary allocation to the department? Because it's one critical department that is supposed to drive the economy of this country. Number two, in your oral submission of your introduction, largely you're a teacher. You taught in schools and currently you're teaching in a technical institute. I don't know whether you have that ability, because now you're coming to a sector that requires a lot of engagement. Not teaching per se, but we have a number of things to deliver. So do you think you're capable of doing what you've been nominated to? Lastly, the governor in his manifesto gave an ambitious plan of value addition. In Kipkelion East, the governor talks about the maize milling project. In my constituency, the governor has indicated he will revive the sweet potato plant. In Buret, there is the pineapple plant that has been funded for a long time now without results. Lastly, in Belgood, or largely this other section, it cuts across even up to Kenya. The governor thinks of introducing the milk processing plant. According to you, Willy, do you think this is all these things are viable? Is it possible? Because you will now be the accounting officer. Should we, endorse you? Thank you.
So, thank you, Honorable Rogony. At the moment, the department is having agriculture. We also have livestock, fisheries, and also cooperative. And when I was looking at our budget, it's around 500 million. We are yet to disintegrate to specify, which I believe that with the informed wisdom of our CC, Waziri Chesire, that one shall be worked on. And about my experience in agriculture, one thing that I must mention is that I can say that I am a mixture of an individual. Having grown up in little primary school in my village, whereby we schooled with coffee, at that time it was 70 cents per kg. And our parents never gave up. They struggled and kept it. Our parents built a factory. And we were hands-on because, of course, we could not get a person to go and pick the berries. But my passion in the field, in harvest that I didn't mention, we have what you call an agribusiness annual expo, whereby we are more of offering extension service to the farmer. Our students usually go for attachment, and we attach them to the farmers in various places in the country. And therefore, especially myself, my area of specialization in harvest is on extension. And I've interacted with the farmers. I brought an evidence that I wish to submit to this honorable committee. One being an evidence of my role as an organizer in the expo. And number two, this is from 2017. There's also a magazine of the same, which I will request that you have a look at through the office of the clerk. I've worked with the farmers. We normally find the challenges. The other thing that will come with it that I will also mention is that there's a memoranda that we are trying to submit so that we are able to work on the value chain of the farmers. So it's only that the setup may be a training institution. That is why at the moment in the technical institutions, we are not teaching them, we are training them. And we are training them on the hands-on. And how do we train them? By ensuring that there is a link between the academia work we are doing and the farmers in the field. So that as we train our students, we are preparing them psychologically on the issues that they are going to face. At the end of this attachment, they should submit a report of the work they have done. And we build on that information that the farmers have. So I've interacted a lot with the farmers, and I want to believe that coming with the new challenges, learning is a process. I will endeavor. And Honorable Rogony, in addition, I'm also a hands-on person. If you come to harvest during the Farmers' Day, I'm in Gambut, I am doing it practically. Because we need to lead by example. Sometimes when I see my students in status and they are teaching farmers without the necessary attire, I call them, although they are finished, but I tell them, remember, you are a professional and you cannot go to a hospital and be injected by a doctor without yes. Thank you, Honorable Rogony. There's also this addition of value addition. To me, I believe the vision by our Excellency, Dr. Mutai, our governor, is very valid. Looking at the maize milling, one, that I look at it, sometimes, at least for this season, our prices has been better. But at times, our farmers do suffer a lot. A price of 90 kg sometimes can go up to 1,000. And you're looking at the cost of production, sometimes it's not favorable. Milling one would be very useful to the farmers because we are doing value addition. We are able to package it. We are able to brand our county. That is, for example, this is Kericho County maize flour, grade 1. The other thing that I also felt in my vision is that we have the Lake Basin economic block. Some areas in Nyanza province do not produce maize, and therefore we can discuss and do some business with them. We are telling them we have milled this, and therefore we can sell to you. But one thing that I need to emphasize is that community participation is very important. We shall look into the budget. The same applies with the sweet potato plant. I think I had looked at it earlier on. It had a challenge about land, but I want to believe that if things are done right, it would add value. And Honorable Ogon, you talk about value addition. Most of us think value addition is a complex process. Even packaging it right, even washing the potatoes right, is part of the value addition. Presenting it in a beautiful manner is honorable. For pineapple plant, I've really read about it, and there's a bill that I came across it. And what I established is that a lot have been placed by Kirti. Perhaps in our budget, I will advise our CEC to factor in the small amount to keep the factory running. Because we cannot have a white elephant, and we are so much privileged to have equipment of that magnitude in our county. And for milk processing, I am so passionate about it. It's not in my docket. Dr. Betty is in charge of livestock. But in the value chain, there is an aspect of pasture production, which lies in agriculture. I had an opportunity of going to Netherlands because we wanted to establish a center of excellence in milk. I'm also at TOT, train of trainers in milk production. Did 9 modules. I feel that this project is very valid. Why is it valid? Because we are buying milk from Githunguri dairies all the way, Meru milk. Why don't we have our own? So long as there's public participation, so long as there's professionalism in management, so long as there's accountability in the whole setup. And that will not only benefit us as a county. For us to have quality milk, we must train the farmer. So eventually, again, even the smallholder farmers who may not be selling to the formal market, the informal market, would also have at least quantity and quality maziwa being produced. And therefore, my mother in the village can also get an income from dairy. It will also help us to improve on the breeds of the animals. And apart from that, it can also be a provision of maziwa, a balanced diet. Thank you, Honorable Ogon.
Thank you, Rob. As you are deliberating on the questions you asked, my panelists here are still wondering whether you came with your CVs or in hard copy. Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Sil. Allow me to present to the Honorable team. This one also may be important. Thank you, Honorable Sil.
Yes, Chair. I've got some few. Yes, Chair. Yes. A nominee, I've got some few questions and issues to raise. I've seen an expo in where you are working at Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology.
Yes, Honorable Dominic.
In Kericho. The last time I remember we had a show is when I was in primary. So it is under your docket. What are your plans? And when are we going to start? Number 2, we have a Kabianga tea farm with around 400 acres of tea, with a lot of challenges. What are your plans in terms of to make it viable and profitable and to serve the people of this great county of Kericho. We have also Kipkelian Coffee Mill. I hope you are aware.
Sure, Honorable Dominic.
What are your plan on the two? Okay. Extension service. In the farm field, we have never met the extension officers. What are your plans? Another issue. There is a lot of challenges facing our farmers. We normally, Kericho County is categorized as one of the agricultural county. But in where you are coming from, the farmers facing a lot of challenges in terms of maize, coffee. There is an issue of tea, which it is becoming a big issue in terms of cost of production. I want also you talk about subsidy. What are your plans on subsidy? Maybe in fertilizers, seeds, and then also what are the challenges facing the agriculture in this county? Chair, thank you.
Okay. So through the chair, Honorable Dominic, thank you because of the questions that is put across. True privilege to be a committee in Expo. And my experience in organizing, and this is my vision, and I will share it with our CC agriculture, is that an Expo is successful when we encourage all the stakeholders. For our case, and I was looking at it, that if possible, and I believe it is very possible, that every sub-county should have an Expo. We identify either the county land, or we identify an institution with space. For example, we have TVET institutions in some of these sub-counties. And I thought that I will advise my CEC that we have a meeting with the agro-dealers within the county, because they are into business in our county, but at the same time, there's also the aspect of CSR in their companies. And therefore, if we all have a meeting and we brainstorm, because Expo is more of showing the farmer that it is possible. So we shall sit with the honorable committee members also, because you are the key stakeholders in agriculture. Sit with the agro-dealers and sit also with the CC agriculture and encourage them to come. They'll be selling their seeds. Some of them are on control, like pest and whatever kind of business they are doing. Then we organize it. It can be done annually. The cost can be cost shared. We can agree that we shall provide you with the land and perhaps maybe transport for the farmers. They also agree to give us their expertise to train them. And this can also be possible if we work with the extension officer, because these are the persons on the ground. Every ward has a field extension officer. So for me, we have to do it. We have no option, because Nakuru is not better than us. I've also, if you've seen, Nyeri, ATC, normally have an annual expo. And these agro-dealers, the companies are more than willing. So I will engage through my CC, and we find a way or a date, and then we come and sit together. Let them come with a plan. Let them own the project. Then that will be of beneficial to the farmers. For me, I would feel that we can do it, both crop and also both livestock. Again, Honorable Dominic, on Kabianka Tea Farm, my able CC had also answered that. But because I am a believer on performance contract. I am a PC coordinator, and quarterly evidence reports is very important. We shall see what could be the main root cause. Is it management? Is it financial whatever issues? And then we sit with the leadership of that particular place. We also engage tea research, because we have experts who can be of great help to us. We also sit with the other CC, because we have CC finance, we have CC CO planning. I would advise my CEC, we have a multi-approach. We have ward admin. All of us should own Kabianga tea. Our students who are on it is also Kabianga University within vicinity. We have people who are doing research. They should all of us participate. But also find a way of making it professional, which I believe with consultation, it is possible. For Kipkelian Mill, from my experience, we are yet to establish the ownership. But if we establish the ownership, I would advise my CC, if we can have a small team to look into it and advise the farmers about the membership. Because I remember that time when the mill was being formed, participation was not there. My parents live in Kashin, and we were only told that there is a mill and this is how to join it. For me, I would advise, once we know that legally the land belongs to the county, because again, the issue of spending the right resources in the right place is important. If it is if now once we establish that, that's an opportunity for us to sell our coffee, value add, and then public participation to the other leaders of cooperative societies. You also raised about, Honorable Dominic, about the extension services. When it was devolved, one of the challenges that came with extension, initially it was top-down. It was the government giving out the project for extension. But at the moment, extension service is farmer-driven because of individual needs of the farmer. But I will ensure, as the accounting officer, the extension staff on the ground must account for the time. Facilitate them, because one of the challenges is facilitate. Organize for short course training. Ensure that you motivate them. I was looking at an opportunity that, if allowed, have an award time. Invite the honorable members. Let us see who is the field extension officer, who performed well. Do we empower them? Then bring awareness also to the farmers that this extension officer will come to your farm based on the need. So that if I am a poultry farmer, or you are a coffee farmer, you are a potato farmer, the extension officer will come knowing that the challenges you are requesting. If we are going to have cooperative societies, and for me, as you mentioned, the challenges that is there, if we have a vibrant cooperative societies, because pulling up resources would also bring benefit to the weak farmers. That one also would be very useful for extension services. Because my advice to the C is that, if possible, every factory, apart from having a manager, should have a person with knowledge in agriculture. And if they have an employee who is not trained in agriculture, we organize a short course. We can have our ATC. I was looking at our ATC, and I was looking at it in the approach of having like a TVET. We train them. We have short courses, like Kenya School of Government. I was looking at the model of Kenya School of Government. We as a county can borrow and empower the ATC. And therefore, that will inform the aspect of empowering them. For performance of maize, coffee, tea, on the cost of production, I was looking at our national government. They are talking about funding. We can have revolving fund. We can have also the aspect of, one of the things I have noted, and through my interaction now in my workplace, the last time, if I ask you, Honorable Dominic, you did soil sampling and testing in your farm. For sure, I don't know whether you can be able to tell me when you did soil testing. If I ask the chair, the last time you did soil testing, but on the other side, if we do the expo now, we can test the farmer soil in the shamba, know the kind of fertilizer. Is it too acidic? You normally see how the tea estates, the plantation do. At times they pour lime on the shamba to try. It's also that farmers are facing, and even coffee, is the basic practices, just the basic practices, because they don't have the knowledge. We still do the old way. But if we can have the regime, the program usually placed out, encourage our farmers to do the organic farming, because the organic manure is available. Tell them when to apply. Tell them when to control the pest. And the subsidy, if now the fertilizer subsidy, I would also advise my CEC. The national government, we have a CS in charge of agriculture. One of the things that I also challenge the governor and even you, we also need to bring him on the ground, because he is the national, yes, but we have a department called agriculture, and therefore we need to take advantage of that. We have donor funds, we have opportunities that the national government has, but it is us to organize and convince convince the CS Agriculture to come and support us, especially in subsidy in terms of seed. I think challenges, there are so many challenges, we'll agree. But if we make the extension officers utilize their skill. I was also looking at, the governor has mentioned about internship. I was looking at the coffee. We can make it a center of excellence, the coffee in Kipkelion. If we can be able to start, organize with the agro dealers again, that come and spray your is it pesticide? Come and spray, and then farmers will come and see that when you spray this, it worked. Our students doing agriculture from the technical institutions around, we can also link them so that we have a ratio, if possible, a ratio of 20 farmers by one intern or one student, and provide some motivation to the student. That one now would make the farmers see the importance of farming and business. If you go to the other counties, Nyeri, for example, they're talking about agribusiness. But you see, for our case, farmers could do that if they have the knowledge. So there are so many challenges, but we will make sure professionalism is also maintained. You make sure the management is by walking once in a while. If I have an opportunity or you're coming from your ward, we have a visit to the institutions. We shall also organize maybe with this learning institution before they come and assess their student on the ground. If possible, they should also pass our office so that we can have a communication from the ground. So challenges are there, I agree, but we are up to the task. We are up to the task. We are hands-on, Honorable Dominic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the chair. Through the chair, I want to, Mr. Rob, welcome. I want to welcome you. I have a rejoined question on extension services. How do you rate the extension services given to our farmers in Kericho County? What is your rating on that? Number two, what is the state of food security within our county? Thank you so much.
To rate Mheshimiwa, if I had a scale to rate them, maybe out of 10, one, I must say that there have been challenges in our department. And the challenges could not be, I cannot apportion the blame to the extension officer in the field. The structure in the county government needs to be hands-on. There could be, I was going through, a number of them are retiring or have exited, a number of the officers have stagnated in their job group. That could inform some of the challenges that the extension officer are facing. And a number of them, again, the workload could be so much because there are few of them. And the training, you know, the technology keeps on changing. Perhaps the last time, Honorable Member, they were trained is a while. And one of the motivation, especially for, let me use myself, even your staff, when you train this person, anaona kama anakuwa appreciated. So let me not rate, but I agree we have challenges. But I can tell you for sure, I commit myself. Because I am hands-on, we shall go to the field, we shall have a meeting with them. We also need to give them an opportunity to come and tell us what are the challenges that they have been facing. Then from there, it can inform the next plan on how to brand the extension. People talk negatively about agriculture, yes. So you also have to eat, apart from praying for it also, we need to be vibrant, engage the stakeholders, let the farmers own the extension services.
Suppose now, through the chair, and you want to rate the extended services, the marks given are 10 marks. How do you rate the extended services within our county?
10 being the highest. 0 the lowest. Of course, I cannot rate them below 5 because we have production. We are selling tea, we are selling coffee. There are people, when you go along the road, you see people are producing, they are selling bananas, unapata kuku inauzwa kwa barabara. There's some work that is being doing. But if I rate them, let me rate them at half.
Half?
Yes.
That's fine. And what will you make, what do you do so that we can move away from 5 to 8, or at least 8 or 7%?
From our budget, we have an aspect of capacity building. I'll try to look into it. There's also an aspect of adding more extension officers, recruitment. We shall look into it. We shall also look into engaging the committee in agriculture to convince the people that these extension officers are important to us. I'll also try to work on management aspect. Let them come. In extension, we normally have quarter reports. We have monthly reports. The sub-county extension officers, we should also make sure they submit reports that will inform. The other thing I would also do through the chair at CC Agriculture is to have a meeting with them, see the skill gap. We can do skill gap analysis if the funds are available, what are the challenges they are going through, and then now see how to empower them. But above all, convince them that the farmer needs to be empowered. Thank you. Lastly, I will also engage the agro dealers. Thank you.
The state of food security in Kericho County.
Oh yeah, food security. Yes, it's a challenge. Not every household is privileged to have enough, but we are not badly off. If we compare ourselves, because so that I can talk about a comparison, the dry areas at the moment may not have enough. But for us, our food security is on an upward trend, I believe. It's not that stable, but we are not badly off. I see cases, ideal cases of kids eating chameleon, like what was in the newspaper. We've not had in our place. But I read a bill about food security committee that is trying to make sure dignity is restored on food. Thank you, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Rob. My question is, what is the future of agriculture farming in Kericho and Kenya at large? Number two, should the committee approve you to the office of the county chief officer in charge of agriculture? What is the new thing that you should bring to the people of Kericho County?
Thank you, Honorable Beatrice. The future of agriculture, even our president himself mentions about agriculture. He's really into it. We normally say it's the backbone of our economy. The future of agriculture to me is very bright. There's light in it because the national government, our governor, Honorable Daktari, is also really into supporting agriculture. One thing that we are into it, if we can be able to support agriculture, we shall work on the food security. That one, Honorable Beatrice, you'll agree with me that an empty stomach make loud noise. So if we are able to ensure that there is a food on the table, even the thinking and the approach of our farmers can be worked on. There's also an aspect of poverty. If we improve on the production, we can be able to handle basics. At least a family can be able to even educate, can even have the basics by selling the excess of it. The national government is also investing a lot in agriculture through subsidy, fertilizer, subsidized seeds. The stakeholders, if you look at the news now, almost everyone is discussing about agriculture. So there's also the donors who are willing to support us. The research institutions are also working day in, day out to come up with new varieties or new technology. The future of agriculture is so bright. I normally, through the chair, I normally tell the students that I teach that on a light note, honorable members, that for you to go to heaven, one of the qualifications you must have is to do farming. Because the first thing after God created everyone, he had the Garden of Eden. So I usually tell them, when God will be calling the names, I'll be there to confirm. If you don't do well, you go to the other side. So the future of agriculture is very, very bright. New thing that you have asked, Honorable Beatrice, that I intend to do. I was looking, and I will advise my CC. I had mentioned about the expo. That one, we need to look into it. If we bring expo, if possible, that one is an eye-opener. I was also looking at bottom-up, let me call it bottom-up approach in agriculture. We used to have the Young Farmers 4K Club in primary. We used to have Young Farmers Club in upper. If we engage, because most of the schools are day school, if we activate the agriculture teachers, provide them the schools with the seeds, then once they reach the seedling, we'll have taught them about basic nursery. Then we can now tell them, go and plant in your home. We shall come, the teacher, you know how we can, the teacher will come and assess. Eventually, that one, we are building the young farmers. I saw it in Europe because we normally say agriculture is a dirty thing. Eh? If you tell our children, I want you when you grow up, you want to be a lawyer. When you grow up, you want to be doctor. But in Europe, farming is also a profession. So if we convince them that you can earn income in farming, then we will have succeeded. So that's a new thing that I also feel that we need to do. Another new thing that I also feel that I will advise my CC is consultation, teamwork from all the relevant stakeholders in agriculture. If there is goodwill from the political wing, goodwill from the professional wing, that is very important. Regular consultation. And many others that we'll keep learning as we go along. Finally, I also feel that is important to us is even to convince the national government that this is what we are doing, come and see and empower us. Thank you, Honorable Beatrice.
Okay. I hope I not be. Anyway, Mr. Willy, I hope you got.
Yes, sure, Honorable Member.
Now, I want to take you back to where we heard of these ambitious projects said by our Excellency the Governor. Now, where do you think the Governor will get the finance to make these projects come into reality? Secondly, on your own projection, what do you think it is the best timeline for the same?
Honorable Langat, you are right.
Yes.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. About financing, apart from being in the budget, you know very well that we have friends also. We have partners, development partners. So I want to believe that with the wisdom that our able governor had in these projects, because to me, I still agree that 1,000 steps start with one step. So we can invite our development partners. We can also invite the private sector. We can have a public-private partner agreement. We can also create an opportunity that it's give and take, that we are giving you the land, come and invest. Through that, they can pay cess or they can pay, we can have an income in it. For projection, I want to believe that there will be this a plan. Of course, we operate on quarterly basis, but I'm sure in his wisdom, we shall also prioritize, which is depending on the cost, depending on so many other logistics. So it can be a 3-year program, it can be a 5-year program, it can be it can based on the deliverables in place. It can inform the projection, the timelines. But I believe that there's a whole team in the exposure of our able governor to really work on the technicalities. Thank you, Honorable Langat.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Rob, congratulations.
Yes, thank you, sir,
for coming this far. Mr. Rob, do you have any deferred income or any future benefits that you anticipate to get in future?
Professionally, of course, we are working, we earn, and I want to believe that we invest for our children. I am here because my father educated me, but not through any other means, Mheshimiwa.
Oh, yes. And if in any case, you are given the opportunity to serve as chief officer in the Department of Agriculture, do you intend to have other commitments outside your office?
Honorable Ruto, thank you so much. I believe, as I mentioned, that I am a church elder. In all through, I've been, with a lot of respect, avoiding the word if. I've been saying, I will be the chief officer. So as I believe God give me the divine grace, I will be the chief officer. I have faith in that, because the kingdom is not taken just as by the way, but by faith we do. And if now, if I become one, I will be so committed. One, this is my home county. I would be so happy to leave a legacy that my children will come and say that our grandfather was here and left a mark. So I intend to give full energy to the Department of Agriculture. I intend to go an extra mile to ensure that we succeed. That at the end of the 5 years, if we score, I had scored 5, we should have a plus. And that's what we normally say in extension. Extension is about plus. So I will commit myself fully to the call.
Thank you. Mr. Arop, could you please enumerate some of your sources of income? And after doing that, you should also tell us your net worth. Welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Ruto. One is that I have 2 plots God has given me because of thinking about how to support my family and myself. And I value it at 4 million. And also, I am a member of Imarisha, a circle, by virtue of having been a teacher. My shares is about 250. I've also invested in the school, which allow me to mention with a lot of respect that you one time came and spoke encouragement and inspired many of us, which is about 2 million investments. It's in our land. And I also have shares. I was very ambitious. I also have shares in Safaricom that I bought, although it's about 3,000 worth of Kenya shillings. So when I quantify myself, I'm about 12,250,000 as my net worth.
Thank you. And if you are given the opportunity to serve in the said office, how would you be able to address some of the potential conflicts that may arise in the said office?
Conflict of interest?
Interest.
If I get you right. Mm-hmm. Of course, conflict of interest. One, I will stick to professionalism. I'll stick to the integrity issues. I'll speak to the statutory documents. I'll also make sure that the whole process is very transparent. I will also declare, in case I may have a conflict of interest, I will excuse myself that maybe it could be, for example, let me use, my mother applies, for example, for a service. I need to declare that I will not be in the whole bidding process because this is a relative. So I will stick to professionalism to avoid. The other thing that I also ensure is that the whole organogram is adhered to, so that I don't overdo whatever is not within my jurisdiction.
Thank you. Another question that I want to pose to you is that, have you ever been charged in any court of law in the last 3 years?
Honorable Ruto, I haven't, and I pray that they also don't make an effort of that.
Have you been adversely mentioned in any investigatory report?
Honorable Ruto, I haven't been mentioned.
Very good. Another question. Another question. Every now and then, in newspapers, in radio stations, GMOs is taking a lot of headlines. As a chief officer in charge of agriculture in our county, what is your take on the same? Number two, we are all aware that there is a severe shortage of maize in our country. There are various proposals that importation of maize should be done. Mr. Rob, Rift Valley produces a lot of maize. Harvesting is going on now. If maize is imported, what is the future of our maize that we grow as a country? How will the maize farmer be cushioned on the same? Coffee farm in Kipkelia used to do very well during the de facto town council. It used to get over 5 million annually. But as we are speaking now, the same farm does not even fetch 100,000. What modalities are you going to put in place to see to it that the same is revived? The last one. Immediately after the inception of devolved units, our county came up with a very ambitious plan of having one word, one product. But as we are speaking now, the same idea is no more. What plans, if you think that it was a very good, brilliant idea, what plans can you put in place so that at the end of the day, the same can be done? The last one, your department is understaffed. If you can go to Kipkelia, my sub-county, the Office of Agriculture, which used to be very vibrant, is now pushing. There is nobody. What plans are you going to put in place so that more staffs can be employed in the department, not forgetting the high wage bill in our county? bottom-up economic model is a very good idea as far as Kenya Kwanza government is concerned. How are you going to use your department to embrace the same idea? AMS in Kipkelia, Agricultural Machinery Services, used to be very vibrant in the past. It is good you come from Kipkelia.
Sure.
Nowadays, the AMS we used to know is no longer there. What modalities are you going to put in place to see with that the same AMS can be revived? Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Uto. Responding about GMOs, it's more of a national function. At the moment, it's raising a lot of controversy. But allow me to appreciate, because GMO is as a result of research. And we are educating our children to come up with innovation. We are educating our children to come up with a better variety. This is my very personal, that I love the debate that is happening at the moment. If you look at it, because I'm in the field of agriculture, sometimes we are doing at the moment, for example, grafting. It's also contributing to early maturity. It's a national function. There's a lot of debate in it, but I want to believe that everyone will appreciate that things come, and we must see what is safe and what is not safe. I was looking at a crop bill, and there is an authority of National Biodiversity Authority, and one of the function of the Biodiversity Authority is to advise the government on the GMOs. So allow me to reserve my comments on it, because it's a national function. It's the debate. Our president is embracing it, and with a lot of respect to the national government, I want to believe that we shall all participate and contribute. But research is an ongoing thing that we must accept, but find a way of safety. There's a lot of it. Christianity, researchers, every stakeholder is into it. So I will let it that with a lot of respect, but we shall be engaged. We have a lot of researchers. TS State is coming with new clones. That's part of research GMOs. We have new varieties of maize. Different companies are coming. That is part of it. But now we must guard on, of course, the interests and dignity of our people. The aspect of severe shortage of maize, legislation and policies, if possible. Importation, sometimes you cannot stop, because we have like COMESA, there is East Africa issue, and a time we need to look into it. But my opinion, there was an issue of warehousing system. If you remember, sometimes back, Honorable Mumunya was launching, I saw it in Kitale. If we do value addition, we can also cushion our farmers. I was looking at the warehousing system is a good one, but now you see the volume is not. Warehousing system is a scenario whereby we can be able to, just like a cooperative society, we can be able to cushion our farmers as we wait for a better price. The farmer will say, I want to buy input, fertilizers. We are able to provide. We are able to support them as we wait for a better price. I had also mentioned about, we have so many other counties. We also need to look at it that our farmers, we can also sell to the other counties. We can do business with them, because we have this item, they don't have this item, we can work with them. For that will help to protect our farmers. And the aspect of importation, we are yet to feel the impact, because I think they are trying to look at the drought. They are trying to alleviate the national issues on it. Of course, it may have an impact on the farmers, but you see sometimes people hoard the maize, Mheshimiwa. So we will try to look at it. Our people are now selling green maize. and it's the issues of need. But if we do agriculture right, we are able to have sufficient food. We are able to have the aspect of extension services on the field. Production can go up, and therefore we can discuss. We can discuss and avoid the issue of brokers. Have policies in place that you cannot come and buy from the farmer direct through this process. The aspect of I've mentioned that coffee farm. You had mentioned in Kipkelion. We all own up. Mheshimiwa, you also are a member of the assembly from Kipkelion. And I was looking at it, we can be able to revive in the budget, there's some allocation on the same. But I was looking at it that our able CEC, we shall liquidate it, have a stakeholder participation, let the community own, let us agree that this is beneficial to us. It will help our students get field attachment. We can generate income. And I mentioned the way we shall try to manage the Kabianga. I was trying to look at legislation. I realized that pineapple, there's a bill in it. There is also a bill for Kabianga. We should also have legislation from our side coming up with a policy on how we can be able to manage. So that they could have a bill covering the coffee and the coffee production at large. One word, one product. The vision bearers must have had wisdom to come up with that. To me, I feel that we shall look into it, have a consultation, although it was limiting. You know, sometimes at the moment coffee is growing. Initially, coffee was like from on the lower side, but even around Ainamoi, all over, the coffee is growing. So at times we may limit, but we shall sit, we shall have a consultation, see where it failed, because I'm sure there are some counties that may be brought from us and they implemented, and see how to. We can start in phase. We can have phases. I have one about 5 wards, another 5 wards. By the time we reach 30, then we can be able to increase production. Understaffing is very important. You are talking about the huge way pill in our budget. We have that. But I was also looking at it that apart from employing them, we engage interns. Our able governor had mentioned about internship. Internship may be a bit cheaper because we are only giving them a stipend. Apart from that, I was also looking at providing attachment for our students so that, you know, student attachment is much cheaper to give them. Perhaps we can facilitate them with sabuni and fare and airtime. This student will be getting the knowledge. They will be under the extension officer. So somehow we are saving the cost, the huge wage bill. We have the permanent staff, have the intern, have the student working with us. Kabianga University have that model. They are sending students to the farmers. We have Kipsinende Technical. We have Bureti Technical, training in general agriculture. And therefore, we can see how to work with them. And of course, present to the assembly to approve the budget. I'm sure with the guidance from the finance team, request your approval, or even you are our partners in agriculture, to improve our budgetary allocation so that we are able to employ more. Because if we're able to employ more, improve production, then the county will benefit. Mheshimiwa, you've mentioned about the bottom-up model. I had mentioned bottom-up model. At the moment, with a lot of respect, Kenya Kwanza is not about UDA. It's now the national. It's now about national. What do you call the policies and the vision is being implemented in the entire nation, and everybody is accepting it. And therefore, revolving fund was coming up. The issue of the money that was supposed to be lent to the community, the aspect of subsidies is coming up. The aspect of now engaging the mama mboga, the aspect of improving value addition, the aspect of marketing, assisting them, the aspect of cooperative society is an aspect of bottom-up. That ideas are coming from the farmers themselves because we have the stakeholder participation. Then it comes up and build on the policies and legislation that the county can be able to implement. Honorable Ruto, you also mentioned about AMS in soil conservation. To me, I saw the bill and it is a very ambitious one, which is, to me, is good. I also, to revive it, we require also participation of these companies like FMD, Ford. We need to talk to them. I saw a model in Nakuru during the expo whereby an individual has registered We can also have an interested person registering with the AMS that I have a tractor. We can be able to see the charges and then operate within the framework. I was also looking at it by organizing a plowing competition. We used to have, when the showground, like Nakuru, they have an annual plowing competition. Plowing competition will bring the dealers in the machinery competing, and we score. That one now, again, is part of reaching the farmers on utilization. AMS also, to me, Mheshimiwa, mechanization is important, and we have seen in Tea Estate, the mechanization is important. We can be able to have maybe a workshop. It is very technical, but there's a committee, I saw in the bill, we can be able to manage the workshop. And I appreciate, because it also have an opportunity for those doing mechanical engineering, automotive engineering, they can have an opportunity of operating there. Thank you, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Rob, for trying to answer almost every question. And I don't know whether my panelists still have got some more questions. If not, I will give you 1 minute to give your closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, Honorable Siele. First, allow me to thank God because of this opportunity that I've got. For me, it's still a miracle. For me, it's a living testimony that all of us have an opportunity when we develop interest. I must appreciate the team, because this is the team we shall be working together, the honorable members, for the friendly atmosphere that you've created. I want to appeal that in your own wisdom, I convince you to give me the opportunity to serve as a CEO Agriculture. May it find favor in heaven and before you, that you will consider me. And I commit myself that I will give my best for the glory of God. May God bless you. Shalom.
I think that is the end of our vetting process. Till we meet next time.
God bless you. Thank you, sir.